This episode is brought to you by Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard of Anchor, you should definitely check them out. It's a super easy tool that anyone can use to create and distribute their podcast. It has everything you need, and you can do it all from your computer or even your phone. Need your podcast cover art? There's a tool. Music and sound effects? They have you covered. Want to record on the fly? It's easy with the app. Now you may be saying to yourself, I already have a podcast. No worries, just create your account, upload, and publish to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Looking for some walking around money? Anchor connects you with advertisers who match your brand. It's a one-stop shop for all of your podcasting needs. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, welcome to BizQuik. I'm Julie.
And I'm Corey.
And on today's show, we have Emily Fritchey, the Skin Whisperer. She's the founder and CEO of SunshineBotanicals based in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's right. You're listening to BizQuik. This is where Julie and Corey provide quick and useful information to small business owners. BizQuik is the podcast where small business owners get to showcase their businesses and receive expert advice and guidance in areas many entrepreneurs struggle with. And you, the listener, get solutions, tips, and tricks on real-world topics that many small business owners face. Julie and Corey are the experts small businesses hire when they need solutions. And the BizQuik podcast is just one way they deliver those solutions. Let's start the show.
Welcome, Emily.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Corey. Great to see you guys. It's so good to be here today.
Great to see you too. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. The sun is shining. The rain has stopped. It's a good day.
That is a good day. It's still a little overcast here, but I wanted to start off by asking you about how you got the name The Skin Whisperer. That's an interesting nickname or title to have, whatever you would call it.
Well, because of the way I work, Corey, that title was given to me by my clients years ago because they said that was the only way they knew how to tell their friends about what I do, because my approach to corrective skincare and aesthetics is so unique. They decided to call me the Skin Whisperer because they said if it's broke, I can fix it. And it just sort of stuck. And so ever since, I have been the Skin Whisperer, and it's a title that's really caught on and is pretty descriptive of the type of work I do.
Wow, what a testament to the type of services that you offer. Can we back up just a little bit, and can you tell our listeners about Sunshine Botanicals? Like what makes the company stand out? Why is it different than other skincare companies?
I'm glad you asked that question. Sunshine Botanicals is all about where herbal medicine meets corrective skincare. What makes what we do so different is really how we began and what it's all about. I came from a background of I had major problem skin. As a young person, my family had a history of skin cancers, myself included, and I became fascinated with the skin and really cause and effect at a very early age. So I've been studying plant medicine and skincare since I was very, very young. Fast forward to today. My husband was one of the greatest herbalists. He was very behind the scenes. My husband was very gifted, and he understood the energetics and the power of plant medicine. So he would wildcraft herbs and make individual tinctures by hand using old school methods of herbal medicine making. We did not set out to build a beauty brand. It grew up around us. So what happened was, in my early days of practicing aesthetics, my husband watched the work that I do and saw that I had a real gap, a real need for skin repair and reducing inflammation from all types of skin issues that people had, and brought a serum to me probably 25 years ago. And it was in a cute little bottle, and he says, I want you to try this. Well, long story made very short, I used it on a number of my clients, and I was blown away by how rapid the skin responded and how it healed. And I became really, really fascinated with plant medicine and specifically the science behind it. I have a very clinical mindset as a formulator and as an esthetician, which is me. But I want to know why things work and what is the science behind individual ingredients. Well, that particular formula that he made for me started a combined passion that he and I had. It was the love story between the esthetician and the herbalist is what Sunshine Botanicals really is all about. Our combined passions led to the formulation of some very, very powerful skincare products that are to this day used by several plastic surgeons in different parts of the country. I have been fascinated to study the science of herbal medicine, and as a product formulator and esthetician, I have the unique perspectives of both practitioner and developer. So I'm able to really help someone solve problems. So our line is ultra clean, it's totally wildcrafted, and the formulations are original. So whether it be aging or problem skin conditions, up to and including oncology therapy, we have some of the most powerful products on the market. We're a very artisanal brand, really. We have been a very boutique little brand for some time because our passion is we love to educate, we love to travel and teach, and also develop new products. So really the power is, and the uniqueness behind the brand is the ingredients we use, the processing method, and the way that we have blended our products so it delivers results very quickly. And it's my passion.
And I've always found it kind of interesting with the herbalist approach to things, because there is an actual science there. Hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, our ancestors were using a certain plant to treat a certain thing.
Yes.
They didn't know why it worked at the time. And then I think that's something that we definitely forgot over the years as chemicals and medicine and everything got into our lives.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of getting back into the science. Can you tell us a little bit about the science, like how you've gotten into that? Like, just what research has been done, because if you're saying, if plastic surgeons are using it, that's such polar opposites. We got plastic surgeons and we've got herbal remedies.
Right. Well, let me start there. First of all, it has to be a surgeon with an aesthetic practice that is open to alternative modalities to send or to recommend to patients following the procedures. So I'm not necessarily, or my products aren't in the OR, but as far as what they can recommend to their patients to accelerate wound healing and prevent bruising and minimize things and really reduce the inflammation on the skin, that's where some are open to it. Not everybody, but right now I think it's really being driven by patient demand because people are looking for green, healthy alternatives. And surgeons are not trained in anything except pharmaceutical drug therapy. So that's where we have, a really interesting story. The Science of Plant Medicine, let me recommend a book. It's called The Scientific Validation of Herbal Medicine. That would be one wonderful place for you to look. My husband has a wonderful book that can be purchased either on our website or even on Amazon. It's kind of all over the place there, but his book is really a field guide, and it's a handbook of plant identification and how to make some of your own medicines, and it's called Practical Herbalism by Dr. Philip Fritchey. So there's two great books right there, but the Scientific Validation of Herbal Medicine is the place I would start. There is also in fact, I have it right here in my office. Physicians have in their offices something called the PDR, and it's the book about that thick with every drug so they can reference, whatever they need to find. I have on my shelf not only that, but I have the PDR for herbal medicines. Fascinating. So since here's how this is Emily. I think like a chemist, I work like an herbalist. So I identify the condition that I'm working on. So I'm not practicing medicine. Let me make that real clear to anybody that might be hearing this. I am matching ingredients to skin condition. So if I'm looking at a skin that is inflamed or it's scaly or we could go on and on and on. The wheels in my brain are spinning by what ingredients are necessary to address that symptom. Okay. So we are not a medical brand. We are a green beauty brand. We're a cosmetic, but we're based on the deep science of plant medicine. And when you ask how are we different, if you ask me a question, I will probably be able to answer it. And if not, I know who to find to help me do that. Right? I always have said we were green before green was a marketing strategy. And that's what's happening right now. People are overwhelmed in the marketplace with so many, it's confusing. With anything, it's like drinking from a fire hose. How do you know what to believe? How do you know what to do? And we have earned an area of trust in our space that is, it means a lot to me, because 35 years of my life have been spent with everyone from Amish herbalists in Intercourse, Pennsylvania, all the way to plastic surgeons in Dallas, Texas, because I'm thinking about skin correction. So I'm looking at all the ingredients available to me as a practitioner to give this patient or this client the best outcome and to be able to help them with their problems. So my wheels are spinning, looking at what is the most appropriate ingredient to make that happen. That's how Sunshine Botanicals was born. My husband could take you on an herb walk and help you identify medicinal plants. And that's where his book, Practical Herbalism, really comes in handy, because you can carry it. He wanted people to be able to make sure they're identifying the proper plants if they want to try and make certain things, and how to harvest it and how it works. So it sort of all comes together, in this big soup that we make. So anyway, those are the two scientific pieces of reference material I can give you just right off the top of my head.
Wow, thanks for that. That's fascinating. I didn't realize that your husband had written a field guide for herbs. That's amazing. I want to go back to something that you said a little bit earlier when you were talking about using the lunar calendar. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what that means and how you use that?
I would love that. Okay. The lunar calendar is basically old farmer's almanac agricultural principles of growing plants and materials. Now, if we use the lunar calendar when making an herbal solution or an herbal tincture, a tincture is simply an extraction method to pull the medicinal properties from a plant, whether it be the root, the stems, or the leaves. Wherever the most medicinal properties of that plant are, you make a tincture. Now, in order to get that herb into a finished formula that we make, it starts with the extraction process using a tincture. Now, when that's done, I'll save details on that for another time. But when that is done, if we start making herbal tinctures on the new moon, according to the monthly calendar, let's say, the moon goes from a new moon to a full moon. It waxes and wanes in a 28-day cycle. If you start making medicine or skincare, which is still medicine, according to the lunar calendar, using a wild-crafted root or plant, you're going to have a stronger tincture at the end result or the end process than you do if you didn't. That's true if you plant your tomatoes. Think about this, and I would encourage everybody to really think about it. It has to do with the gravitational pull of the earth and how things work. So it's not new agey, and it's not anything other than it's simple science. So if you plant tomatoes, I'll use that because that's an example most people can relate to. If you look at your calendar or go to the internet and find the Farmer's Almanac lunar calendar for any given month, you will see when the moon is new. If you plant anything at that point, because of the gravitational pull of the earth, the roots are going to be stronger. It's going to be deeper, and you're going to have a hardier plant. That's all that means. Okay. So that's in planting. If you're cultivating. Now, if you're making a tincture, the same principle applies. If you make your tincture or you get it started on the brand new moon, then the tinctures are put into a big container, they're put into a warming cabinet, and they're not touched by light or human hands for the entire rest of that month. Okay. So when the moon is full, and this is like a big warming cabinet in the herbal, in the compounding area. It's like a big side-by-side freezer, only it's a warming cabinet. When those tinctures go into that on the new moon, they are not touched and the door is not opened until the moon is full. Then they come out, the liquid is strained, the rest of the residue, whether it's roots or petals or flowers, is composted, and the liquid that you have left is the medicinal tincture of any given plant, regardless of what plant it might be. So if that process uses the lunar calendar from start to finish, you're going to have a stronger formula. So not only are we not hype about we've thrown some echinacea juice in something, no, it's about how every single ingredient is extracted and put together to create that finished product. And that means the results on a skin are radically different. So again, everything is green now because it sells. Okay. But if you look deeper at anything and say, how was this put together? You know, what is the processing? It's not black magic. And Corey, you really summed it up. Pharmaceutical drugs just ran over herbal medicine. And there's a whole story. If I can say this, in the beginning of my husband's book, Practical Herbalism, he has a timeline of how we got from natural medicine to big pharma. A true timeline. It will blow your mind. How did we lose simple things that are healing to get to the point where we call the big trucks that spray for weeds in our yard so the yard looks pretty? We're killing medicine. You know, we spray and kill dandelion root, and dandelion's awesome for the liver. And it's great. I could go on and on and on. But you see what I'm saying? We have completely lost our way. Now, I have to say this so your people that are listening understand. I'm not anti-medicine. I think we've got the best trauma care in the world. But we have forgotten how nutritious basic plants are to the body, whether it's topical or internal, and we've forgotten. It's a lost art. So Sunshine Botanicals is bringing the lost art of herbal medicine to sophisticated corrective skincare.
And I think you said it perfectly right there at the end, because like anything in life, we need balance. And
yes.
So, you know, there's a need for the botanical side of things, the herbalist side of things, but modern medicine is definitely helpful, because trust me, if you've broken your leg, you'd much rather have some Demerol than to chew on some root.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. There, for the purposes of what we're doing, you know, with corrective skincare, we have a literal apothecary all around us. And it's fascinating to not only study the science of plant medicine, but produce it and watch what it does on the skin. So that's what's great for us.
We're going to take a quick break now and learn about Winnie's socks. And if you're looking for that last minute gift for Christmas, you should check out Winnie's socks. Kara's going to tell you all about it.
Hi, I'm Kara Brunetta, the founder of Winnie's Slipper Socks based in New Hampshire. If you love wearing thick, cozy slipper socks, but you get frustrated every time you have to take them off to go outside, now you don't. With Winnie Slipper Socks, you can wear them indoors or outdoors, so feet stay cozy, socks stay clean. To learn more, visit winniesocks.com.
Thanks, Kara. And all of that information will be in our show notes, so check those out. Now back to the show. Okay, so talking about that, because your company's how many years old is your company?
We've been doing this forever.
Okay, so forever.
Okay, but I'm sorry. As a brand, we're about 15 years old.
Okay, and 15 is old, considering how new the green and organic and all of that is. And tell us about how hard it was to get this brand going 15 years ago, when everything that you just said sounds like black magic.
Nearly impossible. Seriously. If it weren't for the passion driving this to get out and teach and share and create and do, we wouldn't be here. And so it was, you know, when I would work with clients in the clinic who had some really huge issues, and I'm looking at the body as a whole, and I'm looking at how the body functions, and if I began talking about digestion and what their nutrition was like, they would look at me like I had three heads. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it has everything to do with everything. How hard was it? It was very, very hard. So we were very grassroots. We were very organic, no pun intended, in how we built this. And it's been built for us through network and national educational platforms. of the classes we taught across the country. We didn't have the internet. This makes me sound really old, but it's amazing how fast things change. We didn't have the internet. We weren't able to blog. We weren't able to share. We weren't able to do this. So it was a matter of just pure passion and teaching classes across the country to help people understand that, these things were available to them. So it was extremely difficult.
Wow. Yeah, so you're a real trailblazer when you started out. Once other green companies started to come to the surface, how did that change your marketing strategy?
It didn't. I don't watch other people. We're doing what, I don't know if that's what you're asking me. I'm not watching what everybody else is doing because I'm so busy doing what I'm doing. Now what it means is, I think maybe this might be the answer you're looking for. It, in some ways it helped. It really did, because it was no longer just, we had a lot of people in our choir now, and people, in the United States were becoming more and more open to alternative and plant medicine. People were curious. So, the more companies that come on board to do this, and everybody has their own way of producing what they make. I just know how we make what we do. And, in a lot of ways, it really helped us because it was a wake up for a lot of people, and it's cause and effect. People wanted to know more about natural medicine. So, and I use the word medicine a lot. I'm in the beauty business, but if you understood really the power of some of these plants, it's not just an ingredient. It's not just a beauty product. It truly is medicinal in its properties.
I am curious, though, how has the brand changed since over the past 15 years?
Wow. It's evolved with us, really. If you understand what I'm saying, it's really evolved with us, and it's been a learning process on how to communicate this message, because it is very deep. And in the beginning, it was very hard because, when you're really into the mechanics of what you do, it's easy to overwhelm people. So I suppose that the first answer that comes to my mind is I've been able, over the last 15 years, we have been able to simplify the message so it's easier for people to A, understand it, and B, be able to use it. So that's really good. And that's what's helped me there is all the changes in business with technology, with other brands coming onto the marketplace. People are curious, they're more open to this, and it is really, it helps us there. But yeah, it's been a journey.
Okay.
What advice would you give to anybody starting off on a business, trying to get into the green, the holistic, anything space, really? I mean, it doesn't have to be skincare. It could be, anything that's more natural and less processed.
Sure. Wow. I would have to start with what's your motive and what's your passion. Okay. Is it just a business that you're looking to take advantage of in a green space? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if I had come to it from that angle, I wouldn't be here, So it was passion and hunger for this information that drove us through times of, to arrive at where we are right now. But back to your question, I went down a rabbit trail. What would you advise them to do? Look at your market, look at what you're trying to do. Let's say it's skincare, okay, or foods. Identify your, I don't know if all of this will be in order, but look at your raw materials, look at your suppliers, look at the sustainability of any of those three things. You've got to make sure you've got people that can back you. In the beginning, we harvested, wildcrafted, and processed everything. Our formulas are proprietary. We have everything that's ours right now. And with the sudden death of my husband, which I don't think we talked about here, but I lost Dr. Phil in 2017. And all of his formulas and all of the processing methods that we've used are very carefully protected and saved. So I had to, I'll use this is probably the best example for what you're asking me. Look down the road, look at what you're doing, why you're doing it, and make sure that you've got a supply chain that you can depend on and you can trust, because there are so many moving parts. Make sure you've got a team. When my husband died, given what happened to us, when I'm talking about the lunar calendar and how everything is done, I had to find people that knew how to do that. Okay. I have crawled over broken glass and hot coals to get to where I am right now. All right. But it was because of tremendous love and passion for what we do. My husband's gift was incredible, but right after he died, I had to go on a major journey to find not just, we're not talking, a laboratory where I can create a contract and have them make products. No, I had to find the herbalist that understood this methodology that could reproduce this. And so that has been the learning curves, and the changes I've been through have been massive. And it has further built our systems, getting your systems in place, getting your suppliers in place, making sure that you have everything you need to produce a product that people really need right now. And it could be, foods, it could be, wine, anything, just take your passion and plug it into it. But really make sure that you have your infrastructure together, because what I went through to sustain my company and to bring it to a point of expansive growth was tremendous, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Make sure, look down the road and say, how am I doing this? Is it sustainable? Does it work? And if anything happened to anybody, could we keep going? Okay. And that's really huge. Getting your source of supply right. So
such an important reminder for small business owners, the importance of the process and of documenting things and understanding what other people in the organization are doing. Hugely important. So
absolutely.
Kudos to you though for being able to carry on after that and find the way.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Can you tell our listeners how they can find you?
Yes. You can find us at www.SunshineBotanicals.com. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're in a number of different med spas. My brand is showing up in more and more spas, and that's one of my passions, because I'm an educator in the spa space. So I love to teach our techniques and modalities to med spas or traditional spas and bring these healing techniques to them.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for being on our show. And thank you to all of our listeners.
And you can connect with us on social media. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can reach us on our website, sbpace.com and bizquickpodcast.com.
And while you're out there, go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. Give us a like and a review.
Because we love feedback. So reach out to us about that and any topics you might want to have us talk about, or if you want to be a guest, reach out to us. And we also have a book out there for sale, Seriously Now What? A Small Business Guide to Disaster Preparedness. It's available on Amazon. You can find out more about it on our site, sbpace.com.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Corey.
And this was BizQuik, helping small businesses across America.